Hello friends. Those people that have an aquarium have it quite easy when it comes to inspect the different corners of their aquarium. They just have to look through the glass. But those of us who have a pond or fish tank in the garden, we can only see our fish from above, through the water column. And that view can be a bit blurry. Here we have two main problems: sunlight reflecting on the water and the water surface moving about. If we put a black curtain above our heads, we can remove the reflections, but then it gets too dark and we can't see well. If we look through a tube, we remove the reflections, but we still have the water movements inside the tube. To solve these problems and get a clear image of the bottom of our pond, we need a bathyscope or underwater viewer. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a bathyscope using waste materials. Let's see the video. First of all, you must know there are two types of bathyscopes. One type for looking with your bare eyes and the other using a telescopic lens. Any of these tubes can be used as a bathyscope. But if we look inside, our vision will be limited to the diameter of the tube. The longer the tube, the less we'll see. When looking with our bare eyes, what we need is a tube like this one. We draw a circle about ½ an inch from the edge, we cut it out, and we stick a piece of round glass there using silicone. If a round piece of glass is too expensive, we can use a square dustbin. Cutting straight lines in glass is quite easy. Most people prefer using 5mm acrylics or plexiglass, which is easy to cut. However, I don't recommend it for photographs or video because it gets scratched very easily and it's less transparent than glass. But it can be costless. You can get it for free. These are photographs of a print test using acrylic and glass viewers. At about 16 inches from the lens, we can clearly see that the glass viewer delivers a sharper image. We add a handle to the tube and we have a bathyscope to examine the bottom of our pond. Or we can use it in a river or lake to see what is tickling our toes. Now, my tank is quite small, so I need a different kind of bathyscope. This one is much too big. What I need is a telescopic bathyscope. I don't have a telescope or a magnifying viewfinder, but I can use the zoom feature of my camera to get past the end of the tube. When I zoom in, the field of view goes from here to here. And the farther away from the bottom of the pool, we get a larger field of view. So, I'm going to fix the camera here so it's hands-free and doesn't fall into the water. The camera holding fixture was made with a 4-inch end cap, drilling a hole in the center just bigger than the camera lens barrel. The clamps are strips of PVC tube flattened with heat between two bits of wood and bent according to the width of the camera. I had to lift one side of the camera with an extra strip of PVC so it would be perfectly perpendicular to the tube's axis. This clamp is stuck with PVC adhesive, while the others are bolted on. It mustn't be too tight, like in this case, or we might damage the camera. So, I'll heat up this bend to loosen it. Even if it's too loose, the barrel won't let it fall out, and we can place an elastic over it for added safety. Additionally, we can tie it to our neck just in case. It's a good idea to put a handle on it, because holding a 4-inch tube with one hand is not easy. And we can use this bolt to hold the elastic. With this tube, we have removed the sunlight reflections, but we still have to solve the other issue, water movement. If we put this tube in the water will move in here, move around, up and down, sideways, and that will give us a blurry image that moves around in our field of view. For this reason, we must fix a piece of glass to the bottom of the tube so that there's no air above the water that will allow it to bounce about. Ideally, the glass should be stuck inside a recess on the inner side of the PVC tube, something we can make heating up the PVC and expanding the tube with another 4-inch tube, or with the glass itself. For this reason, the diameter of the glass should be equal to the outer diameter of the tube. If a round glass is too expensive, we can stick a square piece of glass to the outside of the tube. In this case, we should stick a strip of PVC tube on the outside of the bathyscope. So we have 2 layers of silicone holding the glass. The first layer goes between the 2 PVC rings. Then I stick the glass onto the PVC using a bit of silicone between both rings, without pressing down too hard so we don't get an excess of silicone in our field of view. And I let it cure half an hour. It is very important that we ensure that the inner surface of the glass has no flaws, like scratches or bubbles, spots, hairs, silicone or fingerprints, before sticking it to the PVC, because once stuck on, you won't be able to clean it. You must also clean the inside of the tube to remove any cuttings or filing residues. If we're going to take pictures or video, those particles can ruin the shoot. Once cured, I place a string of silicone all around the outer tube and glass. Now we can use our bathyscope to see life going on inside our pond. But before that, I must remind you, if you cut this glass yourself, remember to sandpaper the edges so they don't cut you, or you don't cut a little fish or a turtle. If you get it cut by someone else, tell him to sandpaper the edges so they aren't cutting. To sandpaper these edges, you can use a disc like this one. Okay, now let's see the bottom of our pond. And if the pond is too dark, we might want to add some lights to the bathyscope. But that will have to be in another video. Well, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please remember to give it a thumbs up, share, subscribe, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.